And friends, I'm so excited to introduce you to my personal fairy godmother of style, the one and only Risa. And Risa, thank you so much for being here with me today and for sharing with my friends, my family here online, who you are and what you do. And I asked you to be here because I see you as someone who is such a stand for other women. You
Mm.
are the woman who, the first time I met you, you were at Powerhouse Women event, and one of the speakers had spilled something on her dress, and people in her beautiful outfit and heels. She's on her knees on the ground, MacGyvering this thing to clean up this woman's dress and make her not only look beautiful and stunning, like there'd never been an incident, but what you did that I was touched so much by Risa is that you built back her soul. You made
Mm.
her feel like the rock star that she was. So she could
Aw.
walk onto the stage and shine. And you just do that as your normal everyday thing. So I want to ask you, like, how did you get to be the way that you are? But I think that you are just that wonderful person. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Wow, what an intro. And actually thinking back to that day, you just brought a tear to my eye because that
Mm.
day is so powerful in general, but to be able to be backstage with the women who are about to be really vulnerable and share their story with people, and then to have to work on a wardrobe mishap, it's obviously it's my gut instinct to make people feel at ease in what they wear, but then when a mishap kicks in, that's when I go into like turbo mode. And I wasn't expecting that to happen, nor was I expecting there to be any witnesses. But um, it's really, truly my pleasure to be able to do that for women. It's where my product line came from. I didn't even know it was the heart and soul of my business until really like over the last couple of years when I started realizing why I do what I do and really taking a step back and thinking about it. And it really, truly is about creating confidence for women and helping them feel like they can conquer the world because let's face it, there are enough problems in the world and it's hard to get up and get dressed every day. Getting dressed is a part of the process that we have to go through. So I think about what it feels like for people who don't like that process or don't feel inspired by it. And I want to be that little voice in their ear that says, okay, we have to get up today. We have to get dressed today. How are we going to make this experience a positive one so we can face the day and face the real problems that are going on in this world and in our own lives? So that's
Mm.
I think that's part of why I do what I do. And I just know that when the odds were against me years ago after a car accident, I knew that the way that I felt and the feeling that I had about having to face the world, it wasn't about the clothing at that time. It was about the scar on my face. But you start to go deeper with yourself and realize, like, okay, how am I going to, as Jen Gottlieb would say, take my mess and turn it into my message? That's exactly what I did for this business and in this career. And then I started just taking all of the gifts that I have for putting others really high up there and making them feel really good, but in a really authentic way. Like I genuinely get a boost from seeing other people succeed and do well and feel great about what they're wearing. So I just wanted to take all of that and put it in like a pretty little package, but from a place that really truly felt like authentic and good. And it took me a long time to make sure that it was coming from the best place possible and that it was really truly authentic before I started sharing it with the world.
Hmm. And you've touched on so many beautiful things in this statement. And I just want to point out to people like this is just Risa. I gave her maybe an hour's notice and said, "Will you record this with me?" So, so she's showing up and just sharing like from her heart about what drives her to create her company, the Rescue Kit Company, her own business, RiStyle Consulting, and how she shows up so powerfully for everyone each day. And that's one of the reasons that I picked you to speak. I sprung it on you today to speak about your transformational styling. And you
Mhm.
spoke to how when you were in an accident and were struggling with getting dressed each day, that you realized that it really wasn't about the scar.
Mm.
It was so much more than that. Could you share a little bit more about that process for you?
Absolutely. I think that we all have this higher version of ourselves that we want to get to, or we have this grand vision of what we want our wardrobes or our how our lives are going to collide with our wardrobes to look like. And what I started realizing was when I was going into women's closets, I didn't want it to just be this one-off thing. I didn't want it to just be like, hey, I'm just going to walk in here and okay, wear this, and this, get rid of this, and I'll see you in a year. That just felt like not a good use of who I am as a person mixed with my talents. And I wanted to be able to provide so much more for people because it doesn't stop after one session, which is why I've started saying, okay, I'm going to take less clients. It's a little bit more of an investment with me, but I only have space in my heart and my soul and in my schedule for X amount of clients because you're in it to win it with me. Like it is not like a one time deal. You're stuck with me for like a good chunk of time. So that's where this whole transformational styling came into play. I was chatting with my friend who's a resilience coach. Some of us may know her, and her name is Coach Dar. And she reminded me that my gifts need to be used in a way that it is really beneficial for people. And what I was finding was I the one-off appointments and the people that I see here and there that I don't develop a relationship with, I didn't feel like they were getting like the best version of me as a stylist and as a coach because that's truly what I am. I'm not necessarily just a stylist, although that is a title that I can use that's widely known that people can relate to. Rather, I am honestly a mixture between a a guidance counselor in your wardrobe and I would say a wardrobe motivator and a style expert. So I motivate you, I educate you, I give you my honest feedback, and I really hold your hand. And it's all of the things that a lot of people maybe even go to school for is like the coaching business. But I truly, in my heart of hearts, think that I have this a gift to be able to provide useful, manageable information for people, but I also have a way to get to their hearts. And that is something that I know that I would want for me if the people in my life I'm very selective about. So if I'm going to have somebody not only in my life, but in my closet, I want it to be somebody really special that I feel that I can get very vulnerable with and that I can share all of my deepest fears and hopes with. And I want to be that person for people because I think I've always had a natural listening ear. So I want to be able to take my listening ear. That's all people want is to be heard.
Mm.
And I want to take my listening ear and mix that with my talents and provide transformational guidance for people to get them to the next level to be able to get dressed with confidence.
Oh, I mean, everything, every word that you're saying just hits me in all the feels. And I think a big part of that is because I've experienced your transformational styling. Um, and I will direct you to Risa's website where you can watch the full experience unfold. But just in short, for those who aren't familiar, Risa surprised me with a closet ambush. She had heard my story of what I've been through the last couple of years, and then that a woman had made a really mean comment to me via DMs, and Risa gathered up her girl gang and came to do a closet ambush for me. And, it really, for me, it ended up not being about my closet being messy. It ended up being about all of the junk that I hadn't dealt with from the accident that I had been in and its effect on my entire life. So, again, what Risa's sharing, they aren't just words. She's truly living into these things. And it truly, I had no idea that having someone by my side to talk through clothing choices and to, look at all the stuff that I was holding on to.
Mm.
Um, Having someone that I trusted right there to help me through that was the best gift that I have ever been given.
Mm.
So, so thank you so much. And to anyone listening, what she's saying, it works.
Mm.
And what I'd love to ask you before we wrap up, Risa, you help people to feel like the best version of themselves. And obviously, you have a gift for seeing the best in themselves.
Mhm.
If there was one tool that you would give a prospective client to help themselves see the best version of themselves, what would that be?
Mm. I think an investment in yourself, it starts with taking a step back and investing
Mm,
in yourself. So whether that is going to therapy or doing something for your health
mm,
physically, or decluttering, or it starts with clearing the space so you can accept everything else that the universe or God has planned for you. Give yourself that gift of focus on yourself, because the rest will fall into place. And yeah, maybe you have to hire the right professionals around you. But one of the best things that I did for myself in order to really be able to give back to people like you and to really truly give to my clients was I created space for myself and I did the work on myself. So whatever that means for you, you all know that there is something that you need to work on. And I think that if you clear that space, the rest will fall into place for you.
wow. Yes, 100%. Um, I I know that that's true in my own life.
Mm.
I used to think I need to buy more leggings to fix
No, you don't
to fix
say.
to fix my problems, but it really is true. Making an investment
Mhm.
in self
Mhm.
um, can be such an incredible gift.
Mhm.
Mm,
And I think, you start to realize after you've been through what you're going through with me, because we're not quite done yet, but you have been through the first phase, which is the closet ambush and the clean out and the let's talk about this and let's get to the root of this problem. We haven't really been able to do as many styling of outfits, or, even there is even still one phase left of your closet that I want to finish up. But we've been through the bulk of it. But you start to realize once you live in that organized space for a little bit, you gain clarity, then you gain perspective. Then you start to think about, okay, I
mm,
really don't need this many sweaters or this many leggings or whatever it may be. You start to really realize that you can be in a less is more type environment, as opposed to I need 50 billion pairs of leggings in order to make it through my week. You start to realize that actually, no, I feel a lot more clear than I ever have. And I can maybe let's dwindle down a little bit, or let's go in phases, or maybe after the new year, I might be ready to part with X, Y, and Z. If you can create
mm,
that space and that clarity, your life will be exponentially better. But you have to be ready for it and you have to be ready to accept. And I think acceptance is the key to being able to move forward.
mm. And for me, that goes right back to therapy.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that.
Mm.
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
And all of our powerhouse women ladies will understand what a unicorn brainstorming dream is. But for
Hmm.
those who aren't familiar, I'll share. So when we're talking about our goals and our dreams, we tend to say, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could someday meet Taylor Swift? That would be a dream of mine. And I think of yours too.
How did you know?
But a unicorn brainstorming dream is, wouldn't it be cool if I someday met Taylor Swift and she fell in love with the way that I help people move better, and she decided to hire me to be her personal stretcher, and I traveled the world with her. The unicorn dream just doesn't have an end. It's like the big vision for your purpose, your life. And so, Risa, I would love to ask you to share your unicorn dream with us.
My unicorn dream is, well, I have a few, but I'll just tell you one. One of my unicorn dreams is, wouldn't it be cool if I had a show on national television, ambushing closets and getting into the brains and lives of all the women out there that struggle with the getting dressed process? That is my dream. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to just continue to put that out there because whoever is watching who has connections in television, this is the woman to do it. It is like the highest level of reality TV because it is real
Mm-hmm.
and it is true. And I would absolutely watch every single episode, every single season of you
Oh.
living out your unicorn dream. And most importantly, helping people heal not just their closets, but their hearts. So
Oh.
let's
Thanks.
make it happen.
Let's make it happen. I want you all to binge me one day. Binge watch the show, the Risa Kostis
Yes.
Transformational Styling Show. I know one day it will happen, and I appreciate you so much for being my first ambush victim. But I truly know my most special. I'm sure of it. Like, what a way to start.
Mm.
And there isn't anybody better that I can like imagine gifting that to. Really, you are one of the most giving and kind and wonderful human beings that I have ever met in my life. And I knew it in that instant that I met you at Powerhouse Women, and that I just literally inserted myself into your life that day. Was like holding your hand before you took the stage, and I didn't even know you. That's just kind of how I operate, though. I just kind of weasel my way in and insert myself into women's lives. But that's okay. You're all stuck with me.
It's the honestly being yourself. That's the best gift that you could give to me and to everyone. So I'm so grateful that that you are who you are, and you're just so special, and so excited that yes, to watch you become the Oprah of closet ambushes.
From your
All
lips
of
to
it.
God's ears. I
Yes.
love it. I love it. If
Yeah.
Oprah, if you're watching, if you're listening, oh, thanks,
Yeah.
Mallory. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you were able to come and give us some inspiration for our closets and our hearts as well. And I'm so excited. Well, I'm not going to tell that part yet. There's a little secret about the grand prize that Risa and I were talking about just before this call, but I'm going to just leave that as a teaser. So,
I love it. I love a good teaser. Yes. Depending on when this goes live, you can drop it in down the road. But yes, we'll leave that as
mm.
a little teaser just to keep people excited.
Yes, love it. Well, thank you so, so much. And I'm going to include all of the information for where people can connect with you, where people can find you, where they can watch your soon to come TV show.
Yay.
And yes, before we close, is there anything else that you wanted to share with our friends, Risa?
I just want to say thank you to your audience because I see them engage with you and they're all wonderful people. And I want to say thank you to you for just being such an amazing surprise sport for the Closet Ambush. And I'm so grateful that it brought me closer to you and Brian, and that I've just been able to watch and witness your growth from the time that I first ambushed your house to now, even, and the ripple effect that it's had. Because without people like you continuing the kindness ripple effect and continuing to build others up and continuing to pay it forward, the world just can't go round. So that is the cornerstone of like who I am and why I do what I do. And I'm so grateful to be able to share that now and to not feel that it's, I have to shy away from it. So thank you to you for continuing all of the goodness and kindness, and just for being such a huge supporter. I should mention, like, you have been a number one supporter of both of my companies since you've known me. So thank you for being such an amazing human being. Like, I am so grateful to now have you as a part of like literally almost my everyday life now.
I mean, you just said it so beautifully, and I echo all of that back to you. You're such a special person, and you just have so much light and love that you share with literally everyone who comes across your path. So,
Oh, thank you.
everyone who is watching this, go follow Risa, go connect with her, go pop into her DMs and just tell her thank you for being a beautiful human being. Yeah, and I think what the world needs the most is just for people to connect. And it's kind of a miracle when I think about it that you and I were able to connect at an event with 300 women. Um, where, I get very intimidated sometimes by other women. And it was your beautiful spirit and your kindness that allowed that to happen. So I just couldn't thank you enough for being who you are. And I'm so grateful to know you.
Thank you, Mallory. And for anyone out there, a message to your watchers and listeners, for anyone out there who is struggling with the getting dressed process and who is overwhelmed by their closet or feels like they're not loving the skin that they're living in or that their body can't wear certain things, I just want you all to know that I see you and we've all been there and we all struggle with that so much. And feel free to connect with me. I answer all of my DMs on my RiStyle Consulting Instagram, which I know Mallory will put on here. But I personally answer all of those messages. So I just want you to know that we all are struggling and that you're not alone and that it will get better. And if there's anything that anyone suggests that I do to connect on a bigger level, like an Instagram live or a Q&A or anything like that, just to make people feel seen and heard, I'm open to suggestions. So I just want you to know I see you and I connect with you and I relate to you, and we've all been there at one time or another, if not more often than not. So I just want you to know you're not alone, and the holidays can be a really tough time of year. I'm a single woman, and I just want you to know that you're not alone this day or any day.
So beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And she truly means it from the bottom of her heart. That's who Risa is. She would give you the jacket off her back if you needed it. So
Yep, if I had a tank top under this, I would give you my sweater right now. And I have taken things off my body and given them to people at photo shoots. So that's a true story.
somehow that doesn't even surprise me just from knowing you. So
Oh,
I, I know I could really just go on with this love fest
I
forever,
know.
but I'm going to go ahead and just
Okay.
thank you again from the
Thanks.
bottom of my heart for sharing with us so vulnerably and so courageously. And thank you for all of the gifts that you offer. Um, yeah, and reminding us that we're not alone. Like, yeah, thank you so much, Risa.
Thank you. I love
I
you.
love you too.